Shoot, you see me play, I'll change everybody's mind. I'm Alicia. I'm on the set with Bustle, and these are the moments that made me. In 1995, I started to write the beginnings of songs in A minor. I was about 14, and I was really beginning to understand what writing felt like to me. I was on the streets of New York, walking on every subway, every train, every block in Harlem, and Hell's Kitchen, all over the city, and I was alone a lot. Being able to see what was around me and translate that into feelings and emotions and things that would eventually become the entire songs in A minor. So in 1998, I was signed to Columbia Records, and it takes a really long time to figure out, what are you gonna do? It's one thing to say, like, I'm gonna make a record, but like, how? How do you make a record when you've never ever done it before? It took me a long time to find my flow and to really find my confidence. I connected with my production partner, Crucial, and that was when things started to really make sense. So 2000, J Records was formed. The support was there. 2001, Fallin' is released. It was the song that everybody gravitated towards, but it also didn't sound like anything else. And so a lot of people didn't get it. We started to make people believers, and it was especially when they would see me play. Also in 2001, the album was dropped. When the Fallin' music video was first played on MTV, I could not believe it. In fact, I'll never forget the first time that I saw the Fallin' edit. My brother Chris Robinson directed it, and it was, again, the first video, the first time I even did a video, and we were very clear about this concept, this idea of how you love somebody so much and the relationship just goes back and forth and back and forth. When I first saw that edit for the video, there's a moment where the beautiful girl has all these freckles, and she has that orange suit on, and she's standing, and there's a tear that just falls from her eye. And that was it for me. I was crying, boo-hooing. And so when it made its way to MTV, I just couldn't believe it. In order to get the music out there, you have to do some promotion. And between Clive Davis and my first manager, Jeff Robinson, and Peter Edge, and a couple of other great people at the label, they all figured out how to get me on the Oprah Winfrey Show, which at the time was literally like, you might as well just gone on God's show. It sealed every deal. Of course, I didn't really know that, but I did know that was my first big TV moment, and I was very, very nervous. It went so well, so that was definitely unforgettable. Another moment that made me, for sure, was my first trip that I took to Egypt. It was actually the first time I'd ever taken time away and decided to make sure that I was good. It was at the very end of the Diary album and the end of a big tour, the end of another moment of really trying to figure out who I am in this world and in this industry and in this space. And so I was burnt out. And so I went to Egypt, and that absolutely was a huge influence on me, because when I came back, I was a different person. Fast forward to No One. I love this song, No One. I love the video, it's crazy, especially because we had this idea of this music box that contains all this music, and as you watch it, you see the different rooms that I'm in when I'm outside in the rain at the end, this freedom, this liberation. That's what No One really represented, and once again, it was a thing that nobody really expected from me. Now, obviously, we know the song, and it's definitely my song, and it was pushing the boundaries. So I definitely think that's a theme for me, pushing the boundaries, and I ain't never stopped it. So 2010, I did a tribute for Prince on BET. If you know me, you know that Prince is like really, really important to me. And again, I think just all that he represents, this ability to be undefinable, this ability to completely write songs that just will forever live and be so timeless. And as a musician and as a writer and as a producer, all the things that I am, he really inspired me to be that. So to be able to tribute for him was nerve-wracking, but also really exciting. And I got to sing my favorite song, Adore. Like literally my favorite song. So to be able to play that for him, my favorite song, the song that I played over and over and over to study was like crazy. I was pregnant for the first time My first baby, Egypt, was in my belly. Everybody was extra like, Alicia, you gotta be careful, you gotta be careful. I was like, I don't wanna hear it. This is Prince. I gotta go crazy. And so I remember I had these super high heels that I was gonna wear. And I decided that I was gonna climb on the top of the piano because, hello, this is Prince. Like, this is what Prince brings out of you. And I left my heels off and I didn't tell anybody I was getting on top of the piano because I didn't want them to tell me don't do it. So 2013, the Obama inauguration performance. The Obama administration was obviously just really big for all of us to start to shift the consciousness and understand what leadership could look like and be like. And so to be able to sing there and to be able to kind of celebrate that moment for our country and for the world was huge. 2016, when I went to the MTV VMAs, it was right before my album Here, and Here was a really transformative album for me. It really just, I got out of my head and I got really into my heart about how I wanted to create music. A lot of the social expectation and ideals around beauty were really weighing pretty heavy on me. And I started to really take off a lot of the way that I was covering myself up. But mostly what it said to me was that there are these ideas around beauty, and to be liberated from them, to really just love you for who you are, how you are, is so hard sometimes because we're taught not to. That was what I was uncovering at this time at the VMAs, where I sang one of my songs called Holy War, and it was like a preview for what was coming. 2019, I hosted my first Grammys. Whoa, everybody told me don't do it. And I know why they told me don't do it. They were like, you know, you get it wrong, you get it all the way wrong. I knew that it was a really important time. There wasn't enough representation for women in the music industry, where we were seeing so much, just so much discrepancies about, you know, women being at the table. And so I knew that that year that I hosted, I really wanted to usher in the celebration of women, usher in this idea of moving forward and how we're all looking towards just like balancing the scales. So I was really proud to be there. Also did that first performance of the dueling double pianos, which was crazy. And so it was really powerful. It was really a moment that made me, because I think I didn't listen to popular belief. I went out on a limb. I did something that I knew was gonna be strong and good. And 2020, man, so much happened. The Alicia album came out, which is definitely like just the accumulation of all these things, all these moments in one place for me to really fully express who I am. No holding back, you know. In the beginning, I was more nervous. I was more thinking that it was always about everybody else. But now I realize that you gotta take care of you first. And then you can come out and just take over every other dream you have and every other person you love. But you gotta love you first.